Hey, this is Scott Sumter with Bike Iowa. It is September 11th, 2020. So this is week 17 of the Friday Fives. Every Friday, I give you what's on my radar for the uh, week. And we're going to get right into it today. So we're going to use all 1, 2, and 3 right here because I got my 4 and 5 are a little bit longer. So 1, 2, and 3. Ride and race updates. So we're going to start out. We got the Redfield ROCK'N'ROLL race date is tomorrow morning. This is the first time of this gravel race, and it's hosted by Cole Ledbetter, and he's also the founder of the Iowa Gravel Project, which is a really popular website in Iowa right, or Facebook group, Facebook page maybe, um, in Iowa right now. You can either ride 50, 100, or 200 kilometers, and there's free camping in Redfield. Registration is closed, but good luck to those who racing. I'm sure there'll be some muddy level B roads tomorrow. We actually rode the route, got a chance to ride the route a couple weeks ago. It's a great route, many new roads that I've never been on. Yeah, kudos to Cole and everybody racing tomorrow. There's an update from the Spotted Horse Ultra. Its race date is October 24th. Registration is still open, and it's open until October 16th. You can race 150 miles self-supported on dirt and gravel roads in south central Iowa. The 200-mile distance is not happening this year. I think they'll bring it back next year. It's definitely a tough race. The 200 was. The 150, I'm assuming it'll be just as tough, but highly recommended. And also that day, the 340-mile Iowa Wind and Rock race is taking place. That was scheduled for April and has been moved to this race date just due to COVID and everything else going on. And that registration is closed for that. You cannot get into that. Valley Cross is the next one. So its race date is October 10th in West Des Moines. This is the first Iowa cyclocross race that's going to happen as of now. It's permitted and registration is open. I think there's 4 people signed up as of now. It just opened up the last couple of days. Right now, the event's not on Bike Iowa or Facebook, but I see it's permitted and listed out on Bike Reg. This morning, Midstate Cyclocross Weekend, it canceled. It was scheduled for November 14th and 15th, and it's scheduled just for COVID and everything else going on. And that was going to be in Slater, at the house at the Nite Hawk. Ragberry Roadshow is going to be out at the Kickstand in Cedar Rapids tomorrow morning from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. And then next Thursday, it's going to be in Mineola along the Wabash Trace Trail. Both places are going to have their merch trailer and kind of non-organized, organized trail rides from one way or the other. But anyway, look on Bike Iowa. You can check those out. A lot more details there. And there's still really plenty of events going on for September and October. I can't include them all here, but take a look at them. There's a few new ones added this week even. So let's go with number 4. We all know what today is, September 11th. So 19 years ago, 9/11/2001. You know, a day we'll never forget. I'll ask right up. Do you guys remember where you were on 9/11? It's one of those, like I say, one of those days that I still remember. I was working for Spindustry, a little consulting firm in West Des Moines. At the time, we were called into a conference room about a plane that hit the World Trade Center. And we, think it's an accident. Everybody's watching the news. Well, 16 minutes later, when the second plane hit, it really starts to hit you. You knew it was an intentional attack at that point in time. And I'll never forget that shock and awe and anger that I felt right then. We spent that whole day in that conference room watching the news, and of course we were glued to the TV set all that night. If you want, post in the comments. Just curious to see where people were on 9/11/2001. So I got a story, a 9/11 story that I'll never forget. It's about a fella named John Moran who lost his life that day. John was a battalion chief for the New York City Fire Department and a member of Team Escape from New York's RAGBRAI team. That team's made up of firefighters, police, and their families from New York. Remember, those guys could ride really hard and they could party really, really hard. So it was a really fun group. John was married with 2 sons. Kim was his wife. Ryan and Dylan were his two boys. And I wanted to read a portion of a letter that came from one of their teammates on September 13th, so a couple days after the attack. So Gary says, to the many concerned, John Moran is still missing. Mike Moran, Mike's is John's little brother by age, but he's he's his bigger brother by size. So Mike's okay, but several ladder 3 trucks were crushed by the collapse of the first building, and his company lost 12 men. And so Mike was the guy I remember most from Escape from New York. Really strong New York accent, liked to have a few drinks at night, and just his funny antics on Ragbrai. Alex Timlin is okay. His firehouse suffered heavy losses. George Healy is okay. George was promoted out of Emergency 1 before this happened. Um, and Emergency 1 had several trucks destroyed in the first collapse of the World Trade Center. Chris Healy was fine. No contact from Tommy Parr, but assume he's okay because his firehouse is located in Staten Island and wouldn't have been there at the time of the collapse. So just kind of some interesting news tidbits from just a couple days after this. So that morning, Mike got to talk to his brother John on the phone twice the morning of 9/11. First to see if he wanted to ride into the city together, but John was already en route. And the second was to call John after the second plane struck the World Trade Center. And Mike said to John, he says, "Be careful. I'll see you down there." And I'm assuming that was in a strong New York accent. But that day, Mike never got to see his brother that day or ever again. John ended up on the confirmed dead list on September 17th. So Mike Moran, his brother, gave the eulogy, and within that eulogy, he mentioned John riding the hills of Iowa, as it was a special place to get away and let loose for the brothers. Mike finished the eulogy with a "God bless America, God bless Rockaway, land of the free, home of the brave and the finest." So a bunch of us Iowans knew the team well from Ragbri, as I mentioned. At the time, we banded together and got Ragbri involved, and we created a fundraiser called the Moran Family Benefit. And it was a long time ago. The benefit was held on a cold winter day on January 19th, 2002. Some of you might remember it out there, but I had a heck of a time finding the old information about it. So 1,000 people ended up attending that day, including firefighters and police from all over Iowa and the surrounding states. And we were able to fly back his immediate family, and then a bunch of Escape from New York team members flew in for this Ragbri style fundraiser. Benefit was a big success. Lots of teams attended. We listened to some powerful and emotional speeches. We listened to live music. We had bagpipe players there. We raised our drinks for many salutes for the fallen, and most importantly, the benefit raised over $50,000 for Kim and the boys. 9/11 hit us all hard, and I was lucky, and I'll put in quotes, lucky enough to be one of the founders of that event. It was a way for me personally to give back, to remember John, his family, the team, Escape from New York guys, and the 2,977 people that were killed that day in New York City, Washington, D.C., and the plane crash near Shanksville, Pennsylvania. If you do some searches on Bike Iowa for Moran, Moran, many of the links are broken since it's been so long, but the eulogy is still out there. It's well worth reading, and some other posts around that time frame. Never forget. Number 5, Iowa Transportation Commission approves funding for state recreational trails programs. So yesterday, well, actually it was on September 8th, the Iowa Transportation Commission approved $1 million for 5 state recreational trail projects. These projects include, number 1, the Raccoon River Valley to High Trestle Trail Connector. It got $201,000, which is 30% of the total cost of the project. It's for only 0.34 miles of a paved section from 130th Street to M Avenue east of Perry. And this is part of the 9-mile connection that'll connect the two major trails via Perry, the city of Boughton, and Woodward. Approximately 3 of the 9 miles are already paved, and we anticipate this connector to be just as popular as when the North Loop opened up on the Raccoon River Trail in 2013. I'm especially excited to see the opportunity that becomes available for Perry. as it becomes even a bigger trail hub city as Raccoon River and the High Trestle Trail will hit Perry. Perry's big enough to have many of the amenities cyclists like, such as a hotel patio, several bars and restaurants, grocery stores, and camping. So I think it will be a big economic boost year round for Perry. The second one that got funding was the Flint River Trail, $165,000, 32% of the project cost for a .23-mile paved trail parallel to Bluff Road in Burlington. And this is part that's designated for the Mississippi River Valley Trail. It'll finalize a segment in Burlington and creating a 3-mile trail. And once completed, the trail will connect the Mississippi River Trail to downtown Burlington through several parks and preserves through the Flint River Valley. The third one is High Trestle Trail Extension in Ankeny, $295,000. It was 13% of the project cost. This is the second phase. It goes from Magazine Road to Orlable Road with an overpass over Orlable. So that will be a really nice addition. You don't have to wait to cross 4 lanes of traffic. The first phase is almost complete, and it was a trail underpass under Ankeny Boulevard. So once completed, the High Trestle Trail will connect to the Gayle Wilson Trail, allowing riders to reach Altoona, Pleasant Hill, and downtown Des Moines. So again, another major connector. We're starting to see these big connectors come to fruition after all these years. The fourth one was the Little River Scenic Pathway, $161,800. $161,800, 25% of the project cost. So this is for phase one in Decatur County. Currently, it's a 1.8-mile trail outside of Leon, Iowa. This project extends another 1.2 miles into the Little River Recreation Area along the lake shoreline. And that Little River Recreational Area has many amenities, including camping and showers. So that'll be a really nice connector. Fifth one that got funding was Tataka Ska Trace Rail Trail, $176,000, 20% of the project cost. This will be for Phase 3C in Dickinson County. It's a 1.15-mile trail that connects West Okoboji and the Spine Trail. So this is what $1 million gets you for your trail enhancements. 19 other projects were submitted, but none of those were awarded any grant funds. So here's your top 5. The State Rec Trails program was created in '88 with the purpose of developing and maintaining recreational trails and facilities for both motorized and non-motorized trail users. Take a look at the first feature on Bike Hour right now. It tells about all these trails, gives a link back to the big PDF document that really gives details and shows maps. So that's it for this week. You can find more information out on Bike Iowa. We'll do this every Friday. We're going to see if we're going to continue into the winter, just based off views, comments. If you have any comments to continue it, leave them out there. This does take time to put together every week. There's certainly plenty of information we can talk about. It's just should we keep her going, or just keep it for spring and summer? If you have anything you want us to share, ping us on Facebook, send an email to biker@bikeiowa.com. Ride safe and stay healthy. Take care, everybody.